I'd like now to start with Dr. Osman Benchik, who used to be responsible at UNESCO for renewable energy. So he's one of the experts, global experts for renewable energy and in particular training education. Osman, we have spoken a lot in the past about the importance of training and education. We have exchanged our views, and having this webinar here is next to, of course, also an initiative coming from China, and other conversations goes a lot back to the activities that you're doing. So I would like to ask you to welcome the participants and also give your input into our discussion here and start with the webinar. Osman.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Do you hear me well? Is it okay?
Yes.
Good morning, good evening to everyone, and thank you very much for being with us today. And please allow me just to thank our friend Stefan for initiating this webinar on education, which is, from my point of view, one of the key issues should we have to really move ahead with the higher share of renewables within the energy mix. So we need engineers, we need technicians, we need researchers and so on. So the importance of education is really key for the development of renewable energy issues, but in general for the life. So I really thank all those who are taking part to this webinar, and also to the different contributors who are all mainly involved in somehow in the education and training. And without waiting, if you may, I maybe need to go directly to the presentation to introduce the subject. So the capacity building and knowledge base, the challenges and perspectives. But let me first start by energy as critical issue. We have energy, we have very low consumption in the developing countries. If we look to the energy as such, it's strongly correlated with the human development indicators. In the developing countries, we have to expand electricity infrastructure 3 to 4 times just to reach the SDG basic needs. And we have roughly 15% of the world population, which represents more than 1 billion, that still lack access to electricity. Unfortunately,
Osman,
in Africa...
Excuse me.
Yes.
Did you want to show your slides? Because
yes.
we do not see your screen yet.
Oh, I was sharing it.
It's not yet appearing here.
So let me get back again.
Yes, now it starts.
You got
Here
it?
we are. Yes, if you just go to presentation mode, then we see the slide only that you want to share.
Is it okay?
Perfect. Yes. Yes, please go ahead.
Parfait. So I guess that I have not to get back to what I was saying, if you are hearing me. Now, I will just go back to the fact that we have still 15% of the world population, which is somehow more than 1 billion that lack access to electricity. And the high impact, and this is something that I would like to zoom on, the high impact on the quality education, the access to electricity on the quality education. We unfortunately do still have 1/3 of the children in the developing countries that still go to schools without electricity, and this represents more than 180 million. Before going to the issue of education as such, let me just highlight, let's say, the potential of the renewable energy sources in general. We have here the solar potential all over the different regions of the world, but I will personally zoom now on the Africa region and see that we have in that part of the world very, very high potential of solar, but it's the same exactly for wind energy and for thermal and biomass, etc. I mean, for the different forms, but to save time, I just try to zoom on one of the renewable energy forms and see that we have a high potential. Unfortunately, if we take the same world map and look to the solar, I mean the infrastructures for science, technology, and innovation, or let's say the teaching, the education and teaching institution in the different part of the world, we see that that part of the world which is blessed with solar energy, which is Africa, is the region that has the lowest rate, almost, I mean, nothing in terms of infrastructure for education, science and technology. And if you go to Europe with, let's say, less need to access to electricity as they do have, I mean, or it's almost 100% with access, they have a higher number of infrastructures. And from my point of view, this is a paradigm that we absolutely need to change. And we have to move ahead to get, if we talk about global access to electricity, we have also to talk about global access to education and the training, as well as science and technology institutions. This will also help in addressing, let's say, the creation of jobs, as if we take a scenario, and I made some calculations some time ago, on if we go ahead with 100% rural electrification using renewables, we have somehow, at least in that part of the world, Africa, but in other regions as well, in Southeast Asia and in South Asia is even higher, we have more than 2.5 million jobs in that part of the world. In South Asia, it's almost 3 million jobs, etc., etc. So the education and the training, it's really important, not only in terms of science and technology, but also in terms of job creation. And we, from my point of view, need to change the energy development paradigm that we have been witnessing until now, and how to do it by mobilizing education, science, technology, and innovation. You have all heard about the different set of SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And now if we look to these goals, we see that all of them, they need contribution or contribution from the science and technology sector. Science, in its broader understanding as science and technology and innovation, play a crucial role for a sustainable development. If we take the science, technology and innovation, it's in fact the most critical means of implementation of the entire set of SDGs. And all the goals, all the different goals in the new agenda will require input from scientists as well from engineers. Implementing the 2030 agenda must be based on an integrated scientific approach grounded in the best available knowledge. The new development agenda recognizes, by the way, the need to mobilize STI, science, technology and innovation, at a global scale and across the different disciplines to lay the foundation for practices, innovations, and technologies needed to address the global challenges of today and in the future. What are the main challenges in terms of science, technology, and innovation and education? Further efforts are needed in the several renewable energy technologies like PV, wind, fuels, other renewable energy sources, fuel cells, storage systems, hydrogen, carbon sequestrations, etc. More emphasis on end-use technologies with high energy saving should be made, and also opening a new research area in harnessing renewable energy flows. Science education on energy should be widely developed, particularly in the developing countries. The relevance of decentralized systems of grid to ensure affordable electrification, particularly in developing countries. You see that these challenges cannot be sorted out unless the education, science, and technology are seriously tackled. What we need to do. And in that sense, we have worked on a global initiative, because from my point of view, to sort out global issues, we need global initiative. What are the main, why the education matters? Sorry, just a second, I'm having some problems here. Anyway, training the human resources is the main pillar for the energy development shift and the deriving energy diversification and supplies, and expanding the technological leapfrogging is in fact key in addressing the energy challenges. We will not meet 100% access to electricity in the developing countries, particularly in Africa and Southeast Asia, unless we expand the technology leapfrogging. We have not to reinvent the wheel. The local and human development, the local and the human and institutional capacities is really vital for the management of energy strategy and adaptation of renewable energy technologies to local needs and priorities. Indeed, we have technologies, but we need to adapt case by case these technologies to the local priorities and needs. And the priorities and needs in Africa are different from those in Asia and different from those in Australia or in Europe, etc. Wide access to renewable energy, science and technology by all nations is essential for global sustainability. We cannot reach a global sustainability unless we have a global access to science and technology. Global solutions will be possible only through global initiatives involving the different stakeholders in both developed and developing countries. And this is the reason why we have launched this global initiative, because to tackle global solutions, you need global initiatives. What is the main strategy for the launched initiative? It's a human and institutional capacity building, the dissemination of scientific knowledge and technology, advocacy for technological leapfrogging, I was talking about, and scientific exchange, and also mobilize an effective international partnership to provide policy advice and definition of renewable energy strategies, to support innovative technologies to enhance field knowledge, and to develop training tools and materials, and also to promote the best practices to avoid unnecessary loss of time and duplication. What would be the main target of such a global initiative on education? It's the education sector in general from the researchers to lecturers, professors at college, etc., the in-service personnel, the technical services, technicians, project managers, technical staff, etc., policy and administration, and this is most of the time something which is missed. The policy and decision makers are most of the time not really aware about some technical issues, and even when we talk about renewables, what could be the potential, what could be the need, etc., etc. So I do believe that if not a training, but at least a briefing targeting the policymakers and decision makers should be made, as well as to local authorities. So for me, it's really important to have such a segment of potential targets, the policy and administration. And of course, the end users and operative in the field, they have also to understand or to have an idea about the equipment, at least for the basic maintenance. And finally, the entrepreneurs, from the production to the installation until the maintenance of the sector. What are the main, let's say, issues for the way forward? I do believe that we need to link the different agenda and have a comprehensive and holistic approach to energy science and technology, to climate, sustainable development, as well as to other SDGs. And this is one of our tasks, to see how we can link the different agendas in order to move ahead, as all that are linked, but in order to address a global issue, we need also to have a global strategy and link this agenda. The human and institutional capacity development are, from my point of view, a global key driver to the global sustainability and development. Technological leapfrogging in renewable energy should be promoted and expanded. And energy science, technology, and innovation is vital for the shift or the energy paradigm shift or change. The renewable energy skills and technologies must be shared and transferred. And this is, from my point of view, really a key issue. The regions, the world regions, that are who are the more interested by the use of renewables, at least in order to address the access to electricity, not talking about energy saving, etc., are those who lack the know-how and technologies. And we need to have a global and world solidarity, at least among institutions dealing with these, universities, institutes, etc., and share the information and know-how. We also need to create regional alliances like South-South or North-South-South cooperation. And we need also to develop productive capacities to promote technological learning and innovation and reinforce key institutions, as well as the development of science technology and technology infrastructure is crucial. And please allow me, when talking about this last point, which is part of the initiative, we have already, let's say, we are already initiating in Africa what we call an African university that deals with the renewable energy issues. I do believe that we can have the same regional university in Asia and maybe in Europe, etc., and try to create a global network among institutions, and maybe these regional networks can diffuse the information to other regions. And finally, let me just conclude by saying that changing the energy development paradigm will be possible only if access to renewable energy science and technology, as well as innovation, are widely shared and made available for all in all nations. The technological leapfrogging is key in this regard in the developing countries. With this, I thank you for your attention, and I will be pleased to hear from you and see how best we can create a synergy and cooperation among the institutions where we are active and acting, and this global initiative. And I am pleased to inform you that we have already some governments who are really interested by the initiative and supportive to this. And I do hope that we will very, very soon have, let's say, a huge movement towards this coalition for education and training. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Osman. You're kind of, how to say, in medias res. So you started already our webinar with the vision of having a great degree of international collaboration program. And we will now hear from, of course, our speakers, what they are already doing in the fields.